Hey everybody, it's Kevin Esty from Stamping Just for Fun. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located on the east coast of Canada in Upper Tantallon, Nova Scotia near Peggy's Cove. And today I'm sharing Gentleman Crafter's Blog Hop idea with you. And we're going to do a fun little project. Right now with the pandemic going on around the world, it's kind of hard to get together with friends. But you know, wouldn't it be great if we could all get together and have coffee with a friend? So we're going to do a little project today, and we're going to do coffee this way with a pod. And we're going to make a little box that we can send some coffee and cookies to a friend. So you're going to start with a standard sheet of cardstock in whatever color you want to use for the base of your little package. We're going to do a box. And I've got the dimensions below the video here in the blog, but this is our standard letter size cardstock if you're in Canada or US, and it measures 8.5 by 11, and I have simply trimmed this down to a piece that is 8.25 by 8.25. So I've taken a piece off the end and I've cut 1/4 of an inch off the edge here. In metric, that would be 21 centimeters by 21 centimeters. And then if you've made boxes before, you know it's pretty straightforward. You just score a line equal distance all the way around on all sides. And so here it is scored at 2 inches all the way around, or that would be 5.1 centimeters in metric. Okay, and that's going to give us the sides of our boxes. So what we have to do is create our flaps and make this so that it can be folded. So all I'm going to do is go on each of my corners, going to do each one identically. So I'm going to cut straight in on my first line to where they cross. And then I'm going to go back, just move out a little bit, and I'm going to make a little wedge or a pizza shape, some people call them. All that does is it just allows it when we fold our box up that this doesn't get stuck in the margin of the fold. I'm going to rotate, do exactly the same thing again. Take a little wedge out of it, rotate, and do exactly the same thing again. And one final time. And then it's just a matter of folding and burnishing all 4 sides. And I am using up some old stock that I have. New catalog is here. Well, for demonstrators it is. For customers it'll be here in a month. And I've got my pre-order on the way, and I want to clear up all the old paper and stuff I have. So this is a piece of chocolate chip, but early espresso or something would work just as well. I'm thinking coffee colors here, but you could do this in any bright colored paper that you want to. So now it's just a matter of gluing everything together, and I'm going to use liquid glue because it gives me just a little bit of wiggle time. You can certainly use tear and tape or snail or whatever type of adhesive you like, but this just gives me a bit of wiggle time. And what I'm looking to do is make sure that when I glue it, I don't have any little tabby bits that stick out past my top edge. And I just want to push that down, and then I will use my bone folder to just smear the glue around inside there. And you see, it sticks relatively fast. I'll just do those 4. I'm not using a lot of glue, just enough. I don't want it to be wet and soggy. And again, use my bone folder to smooth that. And these last 2, I'm going to put my 2 flaps like this. I'm going to do them both at the same time, because as soon as I push this one down, it's going to be hard to pull it back out and get glue on it. So I'm just going to glue both. I'm going to keep this one folded down while I come up, and then I'll close that one. And once it's inside there, it won't matter. It's not going to get glue on anything except other than where it's going to stick to, so I'm not worried about it getting glue anywhere until I put it in place. There we are. Okay, so now I have my box. I'm just sort of adjusting the flap there. Okay, I have my box bottom. I'm going to set that aside to dry. I'm going to switch to my my cover. And I am using some paper that came from Celebration. This was the foil paper that had both a coppery color and a silver color in it. And I thought this is kind of neat for a coffee treat, so we'll use this. This is a piece that has been cut to 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, or 16 centimeters by 16 centimeters. And again, although you can't see it, maybe if I flip it, not really well, but I have scored it again on all 4 sides equally at 7/8 of an inch, or 2.2 centimeters. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same procedure I did before, except I am going to flip it over. Whoa, that's a busy pattern to see where my lines are. I'm going to cut from back here. So same idea. And I'm going to wedge. Take that little wedgy piece out. Rotate. I'm going to wedge. Now, this isn't the heaviest paper to make a lid for a box of this size. And I'm just kind of feeling the weight of it here and how floppy it is as I'm cutting it. I will probably go back once I'm done, and I will cut a square of Whisper White, or maybe I'll even use some scraps of what I've got left of that chocolate chip colored paper. And I think I'm just going to glue it inside the cover here. It's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, just to give that a little bit of extra oomph. Or you could use a heftier cardstock, or a heftier card designer series paper, the peacock foil papers that we had, or a copper foil cardstock would work well. And I'm just lightly creasing with my bone folder. I am not pushing hard because this paper can crack when you're creasing with your bone folder. So I'm just being extra gentle. Put all my little flaps in. And then I'm going to start gluing. I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did with the bottom. I'm going to put my glue on. Get in there, you. I'm going to glue my flap and make sure that nothing is sticking up where I don't want it to stick up. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to press it down. Bone folder just helps to squish the glue around inside the space to make sure that it is distributed evenly. Do my second side here. Oops, it started to move on me. Don't want to do that. Okay, now I'm only going to do the third one, and I'm not putting glue on the fourth one quite yet. I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to glue this one. Give it a little burnish. But then before I glue my fourth one, I'm actually going to fit this on the top of my box, just to make sure that it all fits. It is pretty tight for measurement, and if you've gone over the edge a little when you're gluing, you might make it so tight that it's not going to fit. So this just gives me the ability to get that last flap glued and make sure that it fits and it's not so tight as it's going to buckle when I go to put the cover on. So I'll push it in tight, push that one in tight, and we'll just hold that there for a minute. Rub it around a little. Okay, great. So now I've got my box top. I like that. Okay, nice little box. I'm going to set that aside to dry for a minute. Inside of our box, we're going to have our 2 coffee pods, and we don't want them to roll around all over the place. So we're going to make some dividers to put in our box. So you're going to take another piece of cardstock. We're going to do almost the same identical thing to it again. This one, however, is not 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. It's 8 1/4 by 8 1/2. So I don't know how do I show you the 8 1/2. There we go. There's how it went together. So we're not taking that extra little strip off the outside. So it's 8 1/4 this way by the regular 8 1/2, or in this case that would be 21.6 centimeters by the 21 centimeters. Okay. Then along the shorter side, so this length is shorter than this length, you're going to score it at 3 different places. You're going to score it at 2 1/8, 4 1/8, 6 1/8. So once you come into 2 1/8, it's every 2 inches after that. If you're doing that in metric, it's 5.1 centimeters, 10.5 centimeters, and 15.6 centimeters. Then this direction, you're going to cut it in half, and you're going to cut that half in half. And so the dimensions of this piece should be 4 1/4 inches wide, because that was your 8 1/2. And then each of these is going to be 2 1/8 and 2 1/8. In metric, that's going to be, gosh, I got to think about that for a second. 10.8 centimeters. And then each one of these is going to be 5.4 centimeters. So 5.4, 5.4 is 10.8. 10.8 plus 10.8 is the 21 point. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Basically a half and 2/4. And these fold up like this. A mountain fold in the middle. You fold the other two the opposite direction, making valley folds. Like that. And you have a divider for half your box. And then, in this case, I'm only going to use one of these little ones. Mountain fold, 2 valley folds. And this is going to go in half of my box and divide it into 2 more places. So now that this is dried, I'm just going to slide these in. This one's going to go in the bottom like that. Just press it down into place. This one's going to go here. And that gives me a spot to put my 2 coffees. And in the other spot, I'm going to put a little bag of cookies or sweets. That goes in there like that. So I have 2 cups of coffee and some cookies for my friend in a nice little box. And then all I need to finish it off is a little sentiment tag. This is something yummy. So I'm using the So Sentimental set, and I'm using the Yummalicious stamp. I've got a little scrap of Whisper White here, and I'm going to use my chocolate chip ink pad. You could use your espresso or soft suede or whatever if you were doing another brown color. I'm just going to do that in the middle. Yummalicious. And then I'm going to pull out a round, no, a scalloped. I have this, I know this isn't Stampin' Up, don't tell anybody. It's a scalloped 2-inch punch. And I'm going to punch that out like that. You could use your layering circles. You could use the dies that go with the So Sentimental bundle. But I thought a punch was nice and easy. And then I have a 2-inch round. And I'm just going to cut a piece of the chocolate chip. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this. Like that. And we're going to position that in the center here. Lovely. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back of that. And right there in the corner. And there we go. A nice little treat to share or send to a friend, to invite them to come and have, or, well, to come. Maybe they can join you on social media through Skype or Zoom or something like that, have coffee and a treat with you. I hope you have enjoyed that, and I'm glad you could join me for this Gentleman Crafter's blog post. Take an opportunity to go down below the video and the instructions, and make sure you visit the other members of our team and see what creative things they have for you this month. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.